Are you crazy? That's what people said when we told them we were walking away from our online education business that has brought us over $1.4 million in profit over the past 6 years.
But once we explained why, the question changed from, are you crazy? To, wait, how can I work with you? So in this video, we'll show you how we reached the $1.4 million in profit with 3 different business models, mind you, what question we asked to realize that it was time to walk away, and why we now focus on helping other educators gain momentum with their YouTube channel to attract more of the right customers.
But before we talk about the 3 business models that helped us achieve the $1.4 million, we need to go back to the beginning and give you some context of why we started an online business to begin with. We had 3 main goals. Number 1, live life on our own terms. That sounds very rebel-like.
Number 2, we ultimately wanted to no longer be dependent on others. In this particular instance, our employers.
And number 3, we wanted to build time, financial, and location freedom for our lives.
With that desire, we set out and started building our first online education business called Simple Germany, where we help people move to and settle into life in Germany more smoothly.
Now, for context, I am from Guatemala and moved to Germany in 2012. And Yvonne,
I'm German, have lived abroad many years, and then settled back and realized Germany's not that bad.
And to be completely transparent and honest with you, I personally thought that when we started this online education business, it would be something that we would create once, maintain, and essentially keep forever. No one really told me that we needed to adapt all the time and a lot. That's how we landed on 3 different business models, which we're going to talk about briefly now.
So the first business model that set everything in motion and ultimately allowed us to quit our jobs was affiliate marketing coupled with SEO.
That were fantastic. And we started our YouTube channel mainly to bring fun and a little bit more of our personality to our very dry topic and bureaucratic topic, which is immigration. Actually, we debated for some time whether we should start a YouTube channel or a podcast. And luckily, I would say, we chose YouTube.
We then transitioned into our second business model, which helped us learn how to sell our own digital products.
Now, this is where things became a little bit spicy because we learned that we actually had to test offers and put them in the market and see how our audience would react. And because of this, and we were still learning a lot about business and everything, we released 15 different low-ticket offers. And maybe spoiler alert, not all of them worked, of course.
And in this business model, YouTube changed its role for us and how we used it. And we actually started selling directly through particular videos. To this day, we're still getting almost daily sales from videos that we launched 2 to 3 years ago.
That's the power of evergreen content. Now, one thing that we hadn't learned at this point of our business is that if we had low ticket offers, that meant we needed a high volume of clients or people or audience in this case to be interested in our offers. And immigrating to Germany, to be completely honest, is not like the largest niche in the world. Actually, the niche is very tiny. So because of this, we needed to change our strategy again to be able to make our own offers profitable. Because we didn't want to depend 100% on affiliate offers. Because by this point, this was like year 3 of our business, we had experienced really good affiliate partners that were bringing consistent commissions, were making really good income, suddenly, from one day to the next, closed their program. So that's how we landed on our 3rd business model, which is actually the business model we fell in love with.
And that is when we started to launch high-ticket live cohorts, where we created a personalized moving plan with our participants to design their move to Germany.
Yes, this was really a very interactive program. We had live calls twice a week, and just the format was so cool. We are very social people in real life, and having a YouTube channel sometimes feels like a one-way communication. Of course, we get comments and emails and we have some interaction, but actually interacting live with humans on the other side of the screen changed things for us.
Yeah, seeing the direct impact, being able to iterate and receiving and giving feedback is just, we really fell in love with it.
So we fell in love with the business model, but as we were creating these live cohorts, we realized something was broken. And it wasn't with the business, it was more with us, so to speak.
Because the more that we taught live, the more we realized that it was harder for us to relate to the beautiful people that we got to help change their lives.
And part of this is because I moved to Germany in 2012. This is 14 years ago. And when we started Simple Germany, I still felt and really highly identified as an immigrant. But after 14 years, it's not that I no longer identify as an immigrant, of course I do, but because I had an online business, my life and conversation was shifting into completely different things. And that, of course, was online business. Not only online business, but self-development, taking care of our life and body and finding balance and all the struggles that we get to actually overcome and learn from as business owners. And this massive disconnect, actually it was a disconnect for you too, right?
Yes, definitely. I never thought in the first place I would end up explaining Germany to other people. But also through the live cohorts, I realized I don't want to be talking and teaching, explaining my country for the next 5 to 10 years to come.
So it was interesting because we were having these feelings independent from each other. We hadn't really voiced it to each other until one day we were in our car, we were listening to a podcast, we were driving to go meet friends, I think. And in this podcast, the podcast was about online business and growth and all these things. He asked this one critical question. What was the question?
Is what you're doing what you're supposed to be doing?
So after the podcast was over, there was a little bit of an awkward silence in the car. I was driving and I turned a little bit to Yvonne and I asked her, what did you answer to this question?
And I said it was a no.
And then she asked back and I also said no. And this was the first time that we verbally told each other openly and without judgment that we were no longer vibing with our business, which is essentially the business that we had done for the past 6 years. I mean, it felt so comfortable, right? So automatic, but no longer fulfilling.
So that gave us the courage, I actually have to use that word, to close that door. Now we chose to not shut Simple Germany down, but to rather leave it in maintenance mode because the content is still helping people and we don't want to take that away from them nor from us in that sense. But it naturally evolved into the question, what's next?
So we sat down and actually took inventory, so to speak, of all the skills we had learned over the past 6 years to grow our business and be in this lucky position, I must say, to think of the next opportunity. We had a whole list of a bunch of things that we learned because running a business requires you to evolve and grow and learn a lot as a person. And after looking at the list of things that we had written down, one thing popped out because it kind of became obvious what we got to do next.
The one constant in the entire 6 years and all of the change of business models in our own personal development was one thing, and that was YouTube. YouTube in itself created the biggest learning curve for ourselves, and it was the constant fuel for all of the success we had reached with Simple Germany.
We honestly believe that human-created, long-form content on YouTube is the best tool online education business owners can use to gain constantly and evergreen customers for their business. Especially now, in the era where everywhere online is being filled with AI slop, human-created content is the best way to stand out as a brand and to be able to connect with the human behind the screen and not only push for sales or push for leads, but actually create genuinely helpful content that serves an audience and therefore also serves your business.
And that is why we have decided to start this new business and this new channel. With Simple Germany, we have figured out over the years how to create momentum on YouTube to then naturally bring the ideal client to our high-ticket offer. And this is the place for us to teach all of our learnings to other education business owners.
Because we underutilized YouTube for 4 years. It took us 4 years to shift our thinking and stop looking at YouTube as just a place to create content and pray for the best, but actually to engineer a business system that would not only serve the audience, but also our business.
What that meant is that we stopped looking at the metrics that YouTube and let's say media in general suggests we should look at, such as views and subscribers, and instead started measuring and then analyzing business metrics such as leads, return viewers, and sales.
And by focusing on the right measures to track, the magic happened because we saw the power YouTube actually had for business growth. So when done right, YouTube can be the most powerful tool an educator can use.
And when done wrong, it can be one of the biggest and most expensive time and energy suckers that simply ain't fun.
Now it's our mission to help educators build momentum on YouTube for their business, without killing the fun and while maintaining their authentic and creative voice.
We have put all of our learnings in a system we call the 5% momentum system, and we break it down in the next video. See you there!